1889, prospectors John Ferguson and Joseph Sharp discovered gold around Monkey Wrench Wash. A mining camp was established west of the Monkey Wrench mine. It was called Ferguson. In April 1894, Captain Joseph Raphael Delamar bought most of the important mines in the area and renamed the Ferguson camp as Delamar. In the same year, a newspaper called the Delamar Lode began publication and a post office was opened. From 1895 to 1900, Delamar was the primary ore producer in Nevada. The new settlement had more than 3,000 residents by 1897. The town provided a hospital, an opera house, churches, a school, several businesses, and saloons. Most buildings were made of native rock. By 1896, the Delamar mill was handling up to 260 tons of ore daily.
Tumbleweed found its way in here.
Pumped from a well in Meadow Valley Wash, some 12 miles away. Supplies and materials traveled even further, by mule team over mountainous terrain from the railroad head at Milford, Utah, which was 150 miles from Delamar. The town was almost entirely destroyed by fire in the spring of 1900. In 1902, Captain Delamar sold his mines, which had produced $8.5 million in gold. The new owners installed a new 400-ton mill in 1903. The mine eventually discontinued operations in 1909. A town revival from 1929 to 1934 included the reopening of the post office, March 1933, and school. The post office closed in February 1941. Today, there are few reminders of the town. Many stone ruins stand semi-intact in the area. Mining foundations can easily be seen from adjacent hills. There are 2 graveyards, which have been vandalized. The area is honeycombed with mines and mine shafts, but in recent years the main shaft has been blasted closed. Wild horses roam the area. The nearby dry lake is known to pilots as Texas Lake, because its outline resembles the state of Texas. Silicosis. The gold in the Delamar mines was embedded in quartzite, which created a fine dust when crushed. Miners breathing the dust often developed silicosis, and the town became known as a widowmaker. In the remote high desert, over 100 miles from Las Vegas and 30 miles from the nearest inhabited town, lies a ruined mining settlement hidden in the hills. At one time one of the largest towns in Lincoln County, and infamous for a very high number of mining-related fatalities, Delamar was a victim of the boom and bust cycle in the late 1800s, and has since been abandoned. In 1889, gold was discovered nearby by a pair of prospectors, Joseph Sharp and John Ferguson, and a small camp named for the latter was formed. Soon other prospectors began to flock to the newly created mining camp, and gold production began in earnest, despite Ferguson's remote location. In 1894, the profitability of Ferguson caught the attention of a speculator and mining financier from Montana, Joseph Raphael Delamar, who purchased several of the mines in the area and moved the town site to where it presently sits under its current name, Delamar. From 1895 until 1900 the mine produced over $8 million in gold ore, but never reached the level that other prominent Nevada mines did, and in 1909 the last mine in Delamar stopped production, and the town was abandoned. The site was briefly active again during the Great Depression. However, the mine is most notorious for the high number of deaths caused by the amount of silica dust created by ore production. This silica dust settled in the lungs of many miners and townsfolk, causing a condition called silicosis, and eventually death, earning Delamar the nickname the Windowmaker. Local legend holds that at one time, over 400 widows lived in Delamar. After a long, lonely journey along abandoned dirt trails, visitors emerge into a small valley tucked away in the hills, with rows of rocky foundations and several freestanding walls from ruined buildings. Picking among the rocks and weeds, the remains of several old bank safes can be found, their doors ripped off and the contents long gone. Due to Delamar's isolation and enclosed location in the valley, there is an eerie stillness in the area, and even in bright daylight visitors sometimes report the sensation of being watched. Know before you go. On the US 93 freeway, 25 miles past the junction with NB 318, turn south and follow posted markers on the dirt road. A high clearance vehicle is required. Be advised, some areas nearby are marked as private property, and abandoned mines are extremely dangerous and should not be entered. Obey all posted signs.
If anything can happen. No!
In 1889, prospectors John Ferguson and Joseph Sharp discovered gold around Monkey Wrench, Washington. Gold and silver seekers rushed to the isolated and treeless region, creating a mining camp, tent town, west of the Monkey Wrench mine called Golden City. Shortly thereafter, another town named Helene was created that had a newspaper, the Ferguson Lode. Eventually the town was named Ferguson, named after John Ferguson. In 1892, the Ferguson mining district was formed. Before long, reports came into Pioche that assays of $75 to $1,000 a ton of ore was being mined there, resulting in the first rush of miners stampeding to the district. In April 1894, a wealthy Frenchman, Captain Joseph Raphael Delamar of Montana, bought most of the important claims in the area for $150,000 and renamed the Ferguson camp as Delamar, establishing the early settlement of the town. In the same year, a newspaper called the Delamar Lode began publication and a post office was opened in June of 1894. By the end of 1895, the camp had become a full-fledged town containing many businesses and more than 300 dwellings. By 1896, the 50-ton Delamar mill was handling up to 260 tons of ore daily. Supplies and materials traveled by a mule team over mountainous terrain from the railroad head at Milford, Utah, which was 150 miles from Delamar. In 1897 a 400-ton cyanide mill was also built to keep up with the demand for milling. By the end of 1897, Delamar was the leading producer of gold in Nevada. It boasted a population of 1,500, some accounts say 3,000, along with several businesses, including saloons and a hotel, and a combination theater/opera house. There is no large-scale source of water near Delamar, and as a result water had to be carried in by mule wagons from a stream 12 miles away. Other supplies had to be transported from a railhead in Milford, Utah, which was over 150 miles away. Because of the demand for water created by the cyanide mill, water for the camp was pumped from a well in Meadow Valley Wash, some 12 miles away and 1,500 feet lower. The 3.5-inch pipeline had 3 booster stations and only produced a 40-gallon-a-minute supply for the town, which was very inadequate to help the mills. Imagine how grim life must have been there when the mines were in operation. Weather and vandals have taken a toll on the remains of Delamar. Only a few years ago several of the old stone buildings remained standing, but according to an area resident, these buildings have sadly been taken apart, stone by stone, by vandals hoping to find something hidden in the walls. However, these crumbling ruins, tailings, and old mine structures still entice ghost towners and photographers to its remote location. Directions: from Las Vegas take I-15 north to Great Basin National Park/Ely cut off Highway 93. Just a few miles before you get to Caliente, Nevada is the Delamar Road to the right. The drive to Delamar is about 16 miles on a rugged gravel road. 4-wheel drive is recommended. The mining camp of Delamar started out as a small tent camp similar to Helene just a few miles to the north, and only a few months later, it was centered around the April Fool, Monitor, Gold Cup, Hog Pen and a few other small mines. Captain Joseph Delamar heard of the strike and came down from Montana to purchase most of the claims in 1894 for $150,000. He consolidated the mines into the Delamar mine, and a town quickly spread out just below the mine. In 1895, a 50-ton mill with a chlorinating process plant was built to work the silver and gold ore. It wasn't satisfactory, however, and it was switched over to a new cyanide process, one of the earliest in Nevada. This new treatment process did well, and a second cyanide plant was added 2 years later. By 1897, the town had hundreds of buildings with more than 3,000 residents. It was one of the biggest towns in southern Nevada at the time, boasting general stores, lodging, saloons, restaurants, stables, a school, and 2 churches. A post office and newspaper opened that same year. In 1899, they built an opera house complete with a brass band. The mine was a rich one and quickly became the largest in the state, a title it held for many years. It had produced over $8,500,000 of low-grade silver and gold by 1902. A fire started in a stable and destroyed much of the south side of town in 1900. Delamar didn't have much water, and there is a story of the townsfolk blowing up buildings with dynamite to stop the fire from spreading. The town rebuilt soon after and recovered. Water was indeed hard to come by, though. The town never had enough. At first, water was hauled in on wagons by the barrel. Eventually, a 3-inch pipeline was put in over to Meadow Valley Wash, some 12 miles away. This meant pumping it over the top of the Delamar Mountains and required 3 wood-fired pumping plants. The lack of water meant that much of the drilling and crushing of the rock was done dry. The veins follow rhyolitic dike intrusions in Prospect Mountain Quartz.
Just like showing it.
Oh,
That's all I got here. I guess he only doing
okay, everybody.
Little lower, Dad.
Damn, Grandpa.
Little
Right
lower.
in his eye, left eye?
Nah,
No, you hit the dirt.
I did not.
you did hit him right by his left eye.
Oh, shit.
I was trying for there.
Well, you gotta count the wind.
What?
This one?
Where are you trying to hit him at? In the
Right
lip?
middle of his nose.
What was that?
I want to get it right between his eyes.
That was a fracture.
Orange patch?
You missed him.
No, I didn't.
Looks
You did
yeah,
too?
I missed a little bit. Missed to the right.
Yeah.
right there.
Almost whizzed his ear though. I think he's seen it coming.
Might have heard it too. Damn.
Same
Another
spot.
one for the books.
At least you could assist.
Line it up right down the middle, but you can't have any daylight on any side of it going down the scope. Look at it
Next to the holes.
and close that right off, but there's no daylight there.
Where's your target? I need it.
Right there.
Once you understand that, that's all.
Target
Unless
his
you
ass.
shake, you just chalk it already and just bottle on that one.
Ultimately got 4 targets. It's in 5.
Right across arm. Let's put it rock. Not flat.
1, 3.
That's how I hit it. That's right, 3, 4, 5. That's right.
What?
Mother leaf.
I hit it more than I did.
Andrew, when you're done with your target, I need it back over here.
My aim is shit.
You definitely give the guy a headache. 4 rounds.
Get him fucked.
Like that right
My aim is shit.
Oh, this is a good target here.
All love. See. Damn.
Everybody got to go for the cap first?
this, bring your target up, put this one out there, and put your name
My
on it.
aim
Flag
is
a hole.
shit.
Yeah, but not one of these.
Here's the difference.
Can I pull this back
The camera looks a little
before I
crooked.
shoot it again, right?
You can pull it, this one, pull the trigger, or you can cock
Yeah, but it's right on the money.
Are
What
we
do you mean a
watching
little
the target?
short?
Are we watching the target or are we watching the shooting?
It's showing the target. How you'd have to zoom in on that to see it, but
Damn.
Nick, I wanted you to pull the handle. The hammer, I mean. Both eyes open, just. Yes, baby. Ooh. Yeah, just straight, just like that, and down 3 inches. You get them right between the eyes. Last shot. Take your time. Got his chin. Very good. Go grab your thing. Here.
Have you shot?
I think so, yeah.
You done shooting?
Not good at all, Rob. Yeah, let me see. No, you got him right in the eye. I knew it. I'll call that a good shot. Yes. Yeah, but this one. She's an 1/8 inch closer than you. She still wins.
Fuck. Ah, fuck my ankle.
You're lucky we ain't got 2 rounds.
You ain't got nothing on me.
Grandpa, where'd you hit it at? What? Where'd you hit it at the second time?
Shoot.
Did you see where mine were?
One right there, but you're an 1/8 inch closer than fucking mine.
Andrew did pretty good. You got him in the belly.